GM, FOMOverse Radio. This is your show host, Austin Hamilton. Today, this evening, we have Yoonshiky, also known as YK. What's going on, my brother?
Hello, hello. Thank you, Austin, for putting me on this show. I remember asking you when I was tipsy if I could be on the show, and
Speaking
it
of,
worked. I'm here. Thank you so much.
got a White Claw right here,
Oh.
man.
I see, I see.
Do they have White Claws where you're at, man?
No, no,
Really?
no. They're not. Nope, they're not here yet. They're
Okay.
probably deciding to come here
You,
because we're beer lovers. Yeah.
you know, they just came out with a Monster Energy seltzer drink. And at first, I was kind of,
Mm-hmm.
skeptic, but I tried it and it was
Mm-hmm.
very good. I was like, oh my God, these are so dangerous. Like, I
It
could see myself
it has.
drinking like six of them, and they all have caffeine. So they're kind of like
Uh-huh.
Four Loco. I don't know if you've ever heard of Four Loco.
No, I
Okay,
haven't.
okay, so they were like the first caffeine alcoholic beverage that I know of, and we used to drink them in
Hmm.
high school, and you would get like super drunk just from like one or two of them, and they ended up like banning it because it had like some weird stuff in it,
Hmm.
and I think they had to like redo the formula. But anyways, besides all that, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. Why don't
Thank
you
you.
tell us a little bit about yourself? Maybe, where you're from, what you do, when you got started in the space, and we'll just kind of take
Hmm.
it from there.
Yeah. So I remember giving you my intro before, so it'll be similar. My name is Yoon. I go by YK or Yoonshiki on Twitter and Discord. I'm a self-proclaimed ETH and POC maxi. I graduated from UCLA in 2019. I lived in different countries all around the world because my father was an ambassador. I was born in Virginia, lived in Ghana, Africa, China, Japan, Korea, Belgium, quite a vast Web2 journey. Now I'm running a private college consulting firm in Seoul, South Korea here. I'm helping international school students get into colleges in the States. Uh, and I started my NFT journey, Web 3.0 journey in 2021, almost at the end of 2021, I believe. Um, and the reason I initially jumped into this scene was mainly because I was thinking about a great inflation hedge. And at the time, I was earning a lot of money. I had it saved up, but people were talking about inflation, and I wanted to find something that's stable. And stock wasn't stable enough, and I couldn't buy real estate. I was looking for something more tangible, more, uh, I guess, safe. And I looked into physical art pieces. That's how I started. And then NFTs, uh, thinking that NFTs could provide much more ease of access to the art pieces, whether I wanted to buy or sell. And I thought, art in itself was timeless in a sense. So that's how I got into NFTs. When I found out about POC, that's when I really fell into a deep rabbit hole. I was very excited to see that the NFT scene were being created as I was buying. So there was new additions, new mechanisms, and new everything that was being created, and that really gave me a good fun because anytime you are in a market that's developing organically, and you experience that as it goes. Uh, it's special because um, no one has ever seen what you've seen, and you feel like you're in the front row seat, experiencing everything in real time. So that's my experience of collecting pop pieces, of being in an NFT community, of being or buying and selling NFTs. I'm down a lot, but I'm not complaining. I feel like a lot of the benefits that came from me investing, me being in the scene, me being here on your show, me meeting you, those are all, I feel like, non-financial assets that I gained from being able to purchase NFTs. And we've been talking about new artists,
Hmm.
um, emerging artists that I didn't know about that you are still looking for. And that gave me more perspective, more idea on where we are. And I still feel positive about the space in general. I believe this NFT space is truly special for artists because it empowers them to continue creating art. Art is really hard to understand, whether it be the price point of an art or how and why artists create art. So I'm still very excited for the NFT space, and I was happy to talk to you about those many artists. So yeah,
Yeah, you bring
thanks
up
for
some
talking.
great, points of discussion there. I guess first one I want to bring up is the performance in art. As far as like over time, if you compare asset classes like real estate, whether it's stocks, art actually outperforms all of those categories. And it's been that way historically. So, if you are looking for a good hedge, like you were saying, YK, over time, most likely the art is going to outperform these other asset classes. And, it kind of depends again, what piece or what kind of work that you have. Um, just because somebody made a real quick sketch and sold it doesn't mean, that's going to outperform everything. But you can find those that very very small percentage of these artists that actually are motivated. They are in it for the long run. They care about certain things that people grasp to, and I just think it's okay to open up your eyes and look at these other emerging artists and maybe some older artists that you aren't familiar with. I just think you'll give yourself some more opportunity, and I think just looking at other artworks and appreciating them is okay too. I was talking to Non Fungi this morning on his Twitter show,
Mm,
and just because you don't have the work or you haven't bought in to somebody's art piece doesn't mean you can't appreciate it. There's pieces that, again, I'll say this again after this morning, I'll probably never have, like a Fidenza or like a Andy Warhol, or but
mm,
that doesn't mean that I can't not appreciate it. So I think a lot of the times we're more focused on buying and selling than we are actually like talking about the art and appreciating it. Speaking of talking about the art, our fellow Dell had just had a auction. I'm not sure if it's still going right now, but we can pull that up and just kind of look at it here
mm.
and maybe talk about it. So right here, this is his first one of one actually.
Yeah.
Let's see it here. Finale, winning bid
Mm.
3.5 Ethereum.
Wow.
So it
Yeah.
did end up selling.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's pretty dang good for, what kind of market that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
it's very strange, the market that we're in. Um,
Mm.
you see those Nagamigos.
Yeah. Nakamigos, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah,
Nakamigos, right?
those, I mean, talk about like
Mm.
coming out of nowhere. I
Yeah.
mean, I was just talking to
I missed
somebody
it.
a second ago,
Mm.
and they were
Mm.
saying they're all the way up to like point
It's
five
six,
eight or
I
something
believe.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it's just another one of these things like you're not going to get all of them, and it
Mm.
seems like the ones that you don't get, those are the ones that do really well. I don't know why
Yeah.
that's always been like that. Like, that's been the case for me too. Like, I'm like,
Mm.
okay, I'm going to try out like a PFP
Mm.
thing, and I'll like get it. And
Mm.
I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. And then,
Mm.
like, they make the call like, hey, we're going to dump it, and you buy, and then the
Yeah.
project founder, like, he was a scam the whole time. And yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
so anyways, congrats Dell on the one of one, and congrats
Yeah.
anybody that
Congrats.
did this little Nakamigos thing.
Nakamigos. Yeah. I mean, I feel like NFTs, because they're so young, there's a lot more incentives to scam people because I feel like in the end, the mechanism, if you truly understand it, it is quite easy to scam people, and that's kind of sad. So we're still maturing, we're still growing. So,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah. Real quick, before I bring up your recent purchase,
mhm.
the whole scam thing. I
Mm,
think that's one of the sectors of the NFT and Web3 space is until we get our security more down,
mm,
until it's a little bit harder to be hacked. I think, once we get that all down, I think you'll see a lot more people feel comfortable about coming
yep,
in,
definitely.
having large volumes, lots of
Mm,
cash inflow, whatever,
mm.
and so what and so forth. So, yeah, anyways, I seen you pulled off this recent purchase, man. The flipper.
Yeah.
Maybe tell
Yep.
us a little bit about why you wanted to buy it and what led you
Yep.
to it.
Uh, Last time I talked to you, I told you that, a lot of people were n negative, generally negative in the space. And the reason I thought was because they were holding a piece. They couldn't sell it at the price point they wanted to. And they're holding bags that were completely down. They didn't have liquidity and they couldn't buy into other projects. We've just seen Nakamigos that just skyrocketed. We were basically sitting on missed opportunities all the time in the NFT market. And the more you see other people do well, the more you feel bad about what you're holding. So my idea was, okay, I'm gonna continue buying and selling, flipping if I could.
Mm-hmm.
I could flip a lot. So I've been buying a lot more lately,
Mm-hmm.
buying and selling a lot more lately. And then I see this flipper piece that was posted on initially on Discord that I saw in Pox Discord, and it was priced at I think 1.4 ETH. And to me, that was extremely low
Mm-hmm.
because the title collection, I couldn't mint it. I wasn't there for it. I think you were,
Mm-hmm.
Austin, right?
Yes.
Um, so I think this was $1 per piece, the flipper. But these were timeless pieces again. It was the same type of image or video, and only the titles were different. And I thought it was a very interesting way of expressing the current status or the status of the NFT ecosystem. I wanted one, and it's now at a price where I can afford it. So I sold things that I didn't want to hold for a long time, and I was able to buy this piece at 1.25 ETH.
Oh.
And I think that's still a steal.
Yeah.
And I was thinking the next piece that's on sale was, I think, 2.7 ETH right now. I think the volume is really low, so you can't say the floor price is 2.7. But I also had this idea, oh, maybe I should flip this flipper. But I decided to just tweet it, and Pac retweeted this. So now it's going into my vault
Yep.
where I'll probably be keeping it for a long time.
For
But
a
I love
long
it. I
time.
love this piece.
It's a
Yeah.
timeless piece, I tell you.
Yeah. Mm,
Again, I was talking this morning. It's like I feel like Pac is like very ahead of his time.
mm,
It's
mhm,
like he comes up with all these crazy ideas and the title and the fungible and merge and just all these new cutting edge things, which
mm,
really is attractive to me. I like that, experimentation, new technology, cutting edge, really playing with like the limits. I mean, you don't see a lot of artists coming out. I mean, there's a handful that really are messing with the smart contract level. So
mm.
it's really refreshing. It's nice seeing these artists, designers, creators, what you have it just really testing those limits. And I think Pac, kind of started it all. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but Pac is the one that told Beeple about NFTs.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
had a chat early on, and Pac was like, "Let me show you." Another one you have, is of course the OG goat Trevor Jones. You have him doing a collab with Pac early on, and this was like 2020. So you just have like a lot of these big time artists really pushing the edge, and I really think we're just at ground level. I mean, we have the rocket ship, we have all the fuel. We're getting ready to put it in the rocket, and we're gonna send that rocket off to space, man. It's just a matter of time. Um, and you hear talks about like these big museums. I know there was this the most recent topic, Claire Silver.
Hmm.
She was going to be included
Hmm.
in the lore in the Lou. How do you pronounce it? I
Louvre.
don't know. The Louvre.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Paris, right? Um,
But that turned out to be not the case.
right.
So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna
Uh,
say,
mm,
you have these NFT artists that are getting ready to go into the museums, and then
mm,
you have whatever. There was some miscommunication, but anyways, I
mm,
mean, it's the start. I feel like in the next year we're gonna see more artists enter this traditional viewing that I and you kind of want to. I would assume you would want to view some of these NFT artists in real life.
yep.
Like whether it's on like a digital screen or it's a print or whatever. But I think you're going to see that in the next upcoming years. I think it's only a matter of time before you see the traditional art world and the digital art world kind of just merging together. Um, I think there's a lot of great properties that NFTs carry versus traditional paintings. I think there's a lot more benefits that outweigh the bad side. So and also too, there's like hidden utility of NFTs. Like I think eventually, like all of our driver's licenses, all of our social security cards, everything will be like digital and held in like a wallet of some sort. So again, I think we're still at ground level. There's a lot of improvements that need to be made, and I think the artists of tomorrow are going to be different from the artists today. Um, Me and you have talked about a lot of emerging artists, a lot of new artists. I think the top artist 5 to 10 years from now may look different than what me and you would think. So again, I think it's really important that we kind of open up our minds, look at these different artworks, and if you want to buy it, great. If not, you could still admire it. So yeah, we're still at ground level, and maybe you might want to bring up some of the recent artists. I don't know if you've
Mm.
been looking at any new ones, or you're kind of like on the radar. I know you say you're a Pac Maxi, but have you found any artists maybe that have gained some recent
Mm,
traction, or
mm,
you're looking at them?
yeah. Before that, I do want to kind of show off my physical pieces.
Okay.
These are, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
These are Rafik Nadal pieces,
Whoa.
choral pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, bridging physical and digital, I think Pac didn't like this idea before because NFTs are natively digital and, bridging it wasn't the best idea. But at the end of the day, I feel like if you hold a physical piece or do a physical meetup, it's different. It feels different because you're only human, right?
Mm-hmm.
So being only on digital versus holding a physical piece or doing an in real life meetup, I think that's real utility of NFTs that should be sought after. So I just wanted to shield my piece,
No,
but
that's beautiful.
yeah. Yeah. And for new artists, after talking with you, I was more interested in looking for those emerging artists because I minted I can't pronounce
Rip
his name.
catch? Is it rip catch?
Ripcatch, is it? Ripcatch?
I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, because it's a fascinating idea because when he only had maybe 700 followers, I was talking with him. He was an Ash only, or he did an Ash drop before, and it was a generative tree. I bought one. I should have bought more, but I remember buying it, and it didn't sell out because there were about 1024 editions, I feel like. And I was one of the first few to mint it.
Okay.
Um, and I had this talk with him, and he was very knowledgeable. He was enigmatic in a sense, and I loved him. I loved his work, and he was very helpful too. When I wanted to start my own project, he gave me feedbacks, and he was a very genuine person. And to see him succeed so well right now, and of course, me being me, I paper handed my tree for I think 1.9 ETH. That's still an incredible return, but the next tree sold for twice the price. So
Oh yeah.
anytime I sell at the bottom. So Don't follow me. But, but
He got
like,
in early on Rip Catch. I mean, he's a
yeah,
really big deal, and he's been getting some astounding
right.
numbers on his one of ones. Like, gosh, what
Exactly.
was
Yeah.
it, like 27 ETH or 29 ETH
He,
for some of these
I,
recent pieces?
I think on average he's doing 25 ETH. That's what I want to say. But I mean, I looked into how he made these. These are all on-chain. So I've been looking into more on-chain artists. So I think that really delves deep into understanding what the NFT market or NFT does. Because at the end of the day, if you're bringing an image from a cloud and overlaying it on top of the NFT, on top of the blockchain, there's a chance that your image might get lost if that cloud disappears, if that data center disappears somehow, right?
Hmm.
So on-chain kind of eliminates that problem because it's I don't know all the technical terms, but it's on the chain, literally itself. So you won't lose the art piece, correct? Am I right, Austin?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
on-chain.
sounds like what you're
Mm.
referring to is like stuff that like Nahiko does.
Yes.
I
Mm.
think I don't know if OXG does on-chain stuff, but yeah. So
Yeah.
you're talking about the on-chain stuff.
Mhm.
Um, some of it I think
Mm.
changes. According to the blocks. Or I'm not. You
Yeah.
probably know way more than I do about the on-chain stuff. Um,
Yeah.
but somebody I wanted to bring up
Mm.
that I recently found, probably in like the past month, maybe since me and you have even talked, is this guy right here, Robert Hagen.
Mm. Robert
He.
Hagen.
So you might have heard of Jeremy Booth.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So he's like a big, up and coming guy. He's had some really good recent success, and Jeremy Booth was, kind of toting this guy like, hey, here's a
Mm.
brand new guy that's done art for years, traditional work, but now he's finally getting into digital work. So you have somebody that's been doing art for years and years, and in a very small sector of the NFT space that does this Western art, you have somebody that's getting ready to drop like their Genesis pieces. So, it says right here April 1st, 2023, exhibition at Southwest Gallery Dallas. So I
Mm.
know he's getting ready to drop some NFTs. I just don't know when. So this is definitely somebody I think, if you're looking to get in like early,
Mm.
that's probably somebody you should keep your eyes on.
Yeah. Wow. So how do you end up finding these people? Because I just saw he only had 480
Right,
followers, right?
right. He literally just made a Twitter, like, I
Wow.
mean, like a
That's
month ago
incredible.
or something. I mean, but this is
Wow.
like super master stuff that you would see in museums and
Wow.
galleries, and I mean, it's just like ridiculous the detail. I mean, this
Yeah.
is all like on canvas too. So this is
It's
all just
amazing.
like beautiful work. And honestly, like how I find these
Mm.
guys is just, you
Mm.
know, reading my Twitter feed and adding new
Mm.
artists and like allowing them to like post and just kind of like watch them and see who they're interested in, and then just
Mm.
kind of like branch off from there. But yeah, this is somebody right here I've been really keeping my eyes on. I had his notifications on, but I'm like, I don't know if I'll need notifications for this guy. It sounds like he's kind of taking his time. But
Mm.
you can see right here, he says, I didn't sell a painting for months when I first got started. I recall my first sale being at an art fair for about $10 300 years ago.
Wow.
Obviously, it wasn't 300 years ago. But yeah, no, I mean, like this guy is probably
Mm.
going to go somewhere, just based off of these kind of crazy details. I imagine
Yeah.
him being a little more pricey, but I think,
Mm.
if he dropped in the bear market, it might be affordable to some. It's just,
Yeah.
the I'm just blown away with his work here.
Mm. Yeah. Amazing details.
Yeah, and that's a
Crazy.
huge huge
Uh,
piece of canvas right
uh,
there. Yeah.
yeah. So last time you also told me a bunch of other artists in Twitter space, and that really, opened up another spectrum because I feel like I've never seen them on my Twitter feed,
Hmm.
and following them led me to another round of new artists. If you can, if you can please pull it up, Raza Mello, I feel like it's his name. He only has 2,000 Twitter followers, but he's also one of the artists that I've been following that I thought was incredible. Rosa Rosal Vomelo, so Rosalvomelo.
Right here. There we go.
Yeah. So his pieces were, very nostalgic. Uh, I love artists who have their own style, distinct style. Um, One of my mentor, so to say, she runs a physical gallery, and she told me whenever I look for an artist, look for art that's hard to replicate. So I try to do my best to find those artists who are paving their own style, own ways. So yeah, his pieces were incredible to me.
That's pretty wild, pretty original.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
the UFO kind of style
yeah.
too. I'm a big alien guy. I was talking to one of my customers because I,
Yeah.
I sell cars in real life, and
Mm,
I was delivering a vehicle out to the guy, and he lives like in the mountains. I mean, like in the sticks. And
mm.
I remember like bringing up to him. He asked me, he goes, "Do you ever think we've landed on the moon?" I go, "Yeah, I do." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "I've seen UFOs before." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Oh yeah." And he was telling me some of the stories, and then he also told me that he's seen Bigfoot. I was like, "Where'd you see Bigfoot?" And he's like, "Oh, they're out here in the wet mountains." I was like, "Man, I didn't even know there was a such thing as the wet mountains." But yeah, out here in Colorado, I guess Bigfoot's out here somewhere.
That reminds me, I took this class in UCLA. It was called Aliens, Psychics, and Ghosts.
Okay.
So I took that class, and the first day, the professor shows us this video of, NASA engineers, former military generals. They're coming out on a conference, and they're just talking about how the UFOs are real, aliens are real.
Hmm.
So I'm like, after that first class, I'm like, wow, a professor telling me this is kind of pretty convincing. And
Yeah.
later in his class, he would say his dad worked for the government, and you know, there are a bunch of people, engineers that the US government hires, that's really smart ones, and they ride the bus to work, but they don't know where they're going because the bus is all
Mm.
blacked out. And and apparently, this is one of his true stories. His dad would tell him that uh, when in the workspace, everyone is just super genius. And some people are ask very weird questions like, what is love? Or what is it like to get married? Like things that aliens might ask to humans. So,
That's awesome.
his classes just gave me a mind-blowing experience of what, aliens might exist. So
I love that,
it's
man.
fun.
I love bringing aliens onto FOMOverse Radio. Maybe they're listening to the show, so maybe we gotta have an alien come on FOMOverse Radio.
Mm, definitely,
One of
definitely.
the emerging artist platforms I want to showcase everybody here
Mm,
is a platform called Babylon.
mm,
Um, they did a couple drops, several drops actually, with some really great artists. And you know what it reminded me of was the first come first serve Nifty Gateway days. So they were doing first come first serve, for like all of their pieces. I think they might have either like slowed down or switched it up a little bit. But
mm,
I think I got their second. Yeah, I got their second drop. I wasn't able to get it off the primary, but I did get it off of secondary. Was this one right here by Tijo? You'll see right down here.
mm,
But these are all ERC 721s, so they're all like their own individual tokens. And then after that, I got Peep Condo by Terrell Jones.
Mm,
That one is a based off of an artist. I believe his name is George Condo.
mm,
He is a very great traditional artist. Doesn't have any NFTs or anything. I mean, he doesn't really even need to. I mean, this dude like is totally next level. This is like
wow.
some Picasso shit. He's still alive now.
Huh.
Still does work, but you know these stuff are selling for like multi millions.
Mm,
Super abstract. You know, super like original stuff that like you don't really see too often. But yeah, no, for the Peep Kondo, that's inspired by George Kondo. And then here's
mm,
another artist I've been really watching, and I do have a couple of pieces. AMU, super talented, super young too. Gosh, I
mm.
think he's like in his early 20s. But
Wow.
he is an extremely talented artist. He's I like to describe him as he meets your dreams with realities.
Mm,
And I mean, even in the piece here, the dreams I never dreamt.
mm,
So it's
mm,
a lot of like silhouette, a lot of like maybe like lucid dreaming elements that he brings into his work. And I'm just a super huge fan of him. He's posting on his Twitter page every single day. So like if you're wanting just like great art in your Twitter, I mean right here 67,000 followers. I mean, he's
wow.
just posting like some very phenomenal work here of his.
Mm,
And specifically, we can go to his media and just kind of look at it. But like every day, I really look forward to seeing what he's posting because it's just
mm,
like here we go right here. Good morning, you're my dopamine.
mm.
I mean, it's just like very like easy to look at,
Abstract.
you know,
Yeah.
very like trippy, psychedelic.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
here's one that he had on Nifty Gateway when my silhouette met my
mm,
shadow. It's
mm,
just you know like the the shadows right here, but like
mm.
you know there's a an arm right here that's like part of the frame.
Yeah.
You know, it's just I really I don't know, I really like connect with this kind of work here, but he's a really good artist. I think you know he's really early too,
Mm,
so just you know talking about early artists and stuff like that. But
yeah.
yeah, AMU. Another
Mm,
drop that they had, which I think they're like super undervalued, is Ant.
mm,
ANT. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, here we go. Space Case is really good. Crow is another abstract artist.
mm,
Ant, right here. Ant. They do like a lot of mixed media. Um, Again, you know, you're talking about like original artwork that you really don't see a lot, but to me, it's like very inspiring. I think a lot of people kind of use these kind of palettes, but it's just really different. You know, and it brings like a physical aspect of it too. It's almost like you could
mm.
reach into the screen and you could like feel it, you know.
Pick it up. Wow.
But yeah, this is another really good artist, Ant. I don't have any of their work, but I
Mm,
definitely admire it.
mm,
Um, yeah, so check out Babylon. I know they're gonna be doing some more drops. You know, they had Dot
mm,
Pigeon. I know you know who that is.
mhm.
But yeah, Babylon. It's owned by one of the punks, not 6529. Um, there's a one of the punks like started this, so watch out, guys. Watch out for the punks. Gonna take over the digital art world.
Yeah. I recently realized punk owners, they all have some type of business in the Web 3.0. So that was pretty incredible. Oh,
Yeah, you see a lot of the punks kind of pushing the limits
mm,
too. I haven't
mhm,
really seen a lot of like Bored Ape Yacht Club guys coming in
mm,
doing different things. It's pretty exclusive. I don't have a Bored Ape Yacht Club, but
mm,
I got much respect to everybody in the space that does and everything. It just I
mm.
think it's time they come out and what did Yuga Labs just come out with something like the side of like their codas?
But yeah, so I think most recently they did this immersive game experience. Um, that's what I remember. But other than that, yeah, I'm not in that ecosystem too. I wish I was. I think it's very vibrant. Oh, they're doing a good C collab too.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. They didn't they do like some inscription for like the ordinals?
Ordinals? Yeah,
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 they
yeah.
did something like that.
This did so well too. Um, how do you think about Bitcoin ordinals or Bitcoin NFTs?
I think I think Bitcoin NFTs have been around longer than
Mm,
Ethereum NFTs. I'd have to do a little bit of research, but
mm,
like the rare Pepes,
yeah.
I think those have been
Mm,
out a little longer than what we
mm,
know as NFTs. So like,
mm,
I mean, I'm sure it's way more expensive to do things on Bitcoin
mm,
network.
yeah.
Um, I would they be worth more essentially because they're on a Bitcoin network? I'm not really sure.
Mm,
Um, I think some artists will start to play around with it. You see Coldy dropping his first BTC NFT, Filthy Fiat.
mm,
Um, I think you'll see some artists do some things on, but I
mm,
think Ethereum has kind of proved itself, and I think it's kind of the way to go. I have a good buddy that I brought from the Sol network to the
mm.
Ethereum network, and he thanked me. He's like, man, he's like, thank you so much for opening up my eyes. He's like, this is like some true art shit, and that's what he's into. And
Mm,
I'm like, dude, I'm glad I could bring you in too. Like, he
mm,
was trying to get me to do some Soul NFTs. I found a couple
mm,
artists on there that were pretty interesting, but like, it's just nowhere near the amount of talent that you have on the Ethereum network. So I think for now you'll stay on Ethereum. You might see a couple artists branch off, but I think we'll probably stay with ETH for a while.
yeah, that's what I think too. ETH just has more general public appeal in my opinion. So
Mm-hmm.
just sticking to ETH right now.
Yep. Yep.
Mm,
All right, brother. Well, hey,
mhm.
we're already coming up on 40 minutes, so
Yeah.
shoot, it's been quick. It always just
Mhm.
flies by. So, is there anything else that you want to
Mm.
share with before we put it into the show, or you think that's
Yeah,
good?
I did want to share this point. The sheer negativity in the POC ecosystem, POC community. I wanted to just point out the facts and how to manage stress and how to deal with negativities. And the thing is, a lot of the bag holders were venting negativities. I run a Korean messenger channel with POC holders, and it was hard to manage at the time because they were holding too much and they were very upset with the floor price going down. I always try to understand both sides, so I know where the anger and frustration is coming from. Me personally, I'm down like 100K, easily 100K. So I guess I could kind of understand where they're coming from, but at the end of the day, there's only two options. You can be negative and vent out stress about POC, or um, the general floor price. The outcome is more people just leaving and seeing the POC community as toxic. But the another option is being positive and focusing on the positives. The outcome is more people supporting each other during a bear market. So each option is a spiral in its sense, and it will pull you down like a quicksand, right? Because both spectrums are quite extreme, in my opinion. Um, if you're a flipper, criticizing your own bag decreases the value of your assets. Um, and if you're positive, I mean, we can't always think about floor prices, but I hope we can just come to an understanding, both the um, uh, bears and the bulls. We can all just communicate well in the Discord, in Twitter. I've seen, a lot of people posting tweets about how Pac's a rug, but uh, I do understand that Pac lost some faith in not communicating too well in the bear market. The Lost Poet collection kind of missed the dates, but he's still around.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell he's trying to make stuff. It's difficult for any market right now, so you can't only point fingers at Pac because if you look at Doodles, if you look at Moonbirds, if you look at Clonex, they're all down. So just try to stay positive, try to stay happy. I hope everyone can earn a lot of money, but at the end of the day, touch grass, work in real life, keep yourself mentally healthy, treat yourself well, and try to meet people like what I'm doing with Austin. I always have some fascinating talks with you. I gain so much from it. I try to meet a lot of people, try to learn from them. And I think that's one of the most powerful aspects of being in this space. So that's how I wanted to kind of end, um, giving you guys more understanding, you know, just being positive to each other, holding tight in a community. You know?
That's beautiful, YK.
Mm.
I think all of us need to kind of take a step back every once in a while, remind ourselves, like, hey, we're in a bear market, or you can't blame it on just one artist. I was telling somebody in the POC channel yesterday, it was yesterday or today. I go, I said, look at all the other projects, look at all the other artists. Don't just go pointing fingers at one guy because you're down really bad. You made the decision to buy in. It's your responsibility to own up to that and
Yeah.
not blame others. So thank you again, YK, for coming on the show, brother. Really appreciated having you. Fun talk, and keep it
Mhm.
real. All right, man.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.